Good afternoon, and thank you so much for joining us for Friends at 5. I'm Andrea Mock.
And I'm Lauren Thomas, in for Darcy Strickland.
We have been enjoying several days of sunshine. Unfortunately, it looks like that could all come to an end, at least for the next 24 hours or so. Chief Meteorologist Jim Gandy monitoring the situation.
Yes, indeed. And we've been watching some rain moving through the Georgia now. Here in the Savannah River area, we've got some light rain. It's moving northward right now. That's not the real problem. The problem is this line of thunderstorms from the Atlanta metro area extending down through Columbus toward Dothan, Alabama. That line is moving to the east, and it has been the focal point of some severe weather this afternoon. Now, currently our radar, and this is a live look at our radar, showing just a few showers over around Manning, extending up to near Sumter. That's moving northward, but otherwise the only other area of rains in the western part of our state, particularly right here in Aiken County, that's moving northward into Saluda County and Newberry County. You can expect some showers over the next hour or so. It has been a warm day, but some rain moved through Augusta. It's cooled them down to 69 degrees. It's 71 in Charlotte, but 59 degrees in Asheville. Over in Atlanta, they're at 70 degrees, but that line of thunderstorms is approaching. Currently, we're just cloudy. It's 75 degrees. Winds are from the east-southeast at 11 miles per hour. Tonight, we do expect to see showers and thunderstorms. Most of this rain is going to be coming in after midnight, low of 67 degrees. We may see some morning showers. Then we'll start to clear out late afternoon with a high of 77, with cooler air coming in tomorrow night at a low temperature of 48. Now let's take a look at the traffic outside for this afternoon. Unfortunately, we don't have any rain in the area, and the traffic is not too bad. This is the Lexington Highway. Not too bad for this time of day from West Columbia all the way into Lexington. A little bit of a slowdown right now going through the Malfunction Junction area. On the southeast side of town, the Sumter Highway, not too bad. Today it actually gets back to about normal once you get past Pineview. On the northeast side of town, the interstates are moving in pretty good shape. A little slow on some of the secondary roads. If you're going from downtown to Blythewood right now, it should take you 24 minutes, but downtown to the Village at Sandhill will take you about 34 minutes. We'll take another look at these storms to our west coming up.
All right, Jim, thanks so much. Now, one of the men connected to the case against former Sheriff James Metz pleaded guilty today. 49-year-old Greg Lyon pleaded guilty to engaging in a pattern and a practice of hiring workers he knew were in the country illegally. According to the federal government, Lyon was involved in hiring 60 immigrants who should not have been working in the U.S. Lyon also paid for former Lexington County Sheriff James Metz on several occasions when Metz helped or attempted to help one of those illegal immigrants or employees that has been arrested. The federal judge will consider his help in the Metz case when he decides the final sentencing on the federal charges.
Well, in Richland County, deputies are looking for the suspect in connection with the shooting that took place on Broad River Road. It happened in the 4000 block of Broad River Road in Columbia last night. According to deputies, two men got into an argument when one of them pulled out a gun and shot the other. The victim was taken to the hospital in serious condition, and the suspect ran away. Anyone with information should call Crime Stoppers at 1-888-CRIME-C.
One person has been cited and another person taken to the hospital after a motorcycle accident. It happened just after 7 o'clock this morning at the intersection of Assembly and Gervais Street. Now, police say the motorcycle was traveling westbound on Gervais Street near the intersection Assembly, while the car was traveling east on Gervais, attempting to make a left turn onto Assembly when the two vehicles collided. Police say the rider of the motorcycle was taken to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. The driver of the car was ticketed for failure to yield the right-of-way.
The Orangeburg County coroner has identified the person that was killed in the train accident on Monday. The coroner says 52-year-old Freddie Shivers of Orangeburg was killed after being struck by a train. The train that was traveling from John C. Calhoun Drive towards Russell Street, that was the train where it was traveling, and the Orangeburg Department of Public Safety and the Orangeburg County Coroner's Office are still investigating this incident.
And in Newberry County, troopers say one person is dead and another person injured after an accident there. It happened at about 4:30 this afternoon on Highway 213. According to troopers, a Buick sedan crossed the center lane and hit a Jeep. The driver of the Buick was pronounced dead at the scene. The driver of the Jeep had to be taken to the hospital. The crash is still under investigation.
Well, forensic teams are still poring over the scene of an overnight raid in a Paris suburb, and several terrorists were arrested or killed, but it's not known yet who they are. Kenneth Craig reports from St. Denis.
French officials have not yet revealed the identities of the suspected terrorists killed or arrested in an overnight raid in Saint-Denis. Police stormed the building and met heavy resistance.
There was an exchange of gunfire, very active gunfire, with about 5,000 bullets.
Amateur video captured police leading some of the suspects away in handcuffs. At least 2 others were killed, including 1 man and a female suicide bomber who blew herself up. Forensics teams are combing the scene for evidence. Residents are scared.
Many police, many military, and we are so terrified.
The raid here in Saint-Denis was one of more than 400 across France that have been happening since the attacks. The status of the suspected ringleader in the Paris attacks, Abdelhamid Aboud and fugitive Salah Abdeslam, is still unclear.
Aboud and Salah Abdeslam are not being held. We are still looking for them.
Authorities have identified all 129 of the deceased. Mourners are still gathering in a central plaza to pay tribute and trying to get on with their lives.
We will try to keep as usual, but things has changed forever, I think, in Paris.
The number of injured was updated to 368. More than half are still hospitalized. Kenneth Craig, CBS News, Saint-Denis, France.
Now, the floor of the building collapsed when the suicide vest detonated, complicating the investigation process of the deceased.
Facebook, meanwhile, has activated its safety check tool for the second time in 5 days, this time for the bombing in Nigeria yesterday that killed dozens. Founder Mark Zuckerberg says that Facebook will use the safety check for tragic events going forward. The social networking company is now working on developing criteria for this new policy.
Louisiana Governor Bobby Jindal has suspended his bid for the Republican presidential nomination. Jindal is among more than 24 governors who believe President Obama should not allow Syrian refugees into the United States in light of those Paris attacks. The president has dismissed the idea as offensive, but is weighing calls from France to team up with Russia in the fight against ISIS.
The remaining presidential hopefuls, though, continue to visit our state. Tomorrow, Ohio's Governor John Kasich will be taking part in Spartanburg for a town hall meeting at the Beacon Drive-In. That starts at noon. He's going to be heading then to Charleston for another town hall meeting. That one starts at 4:30. And then on Friday, Republican presidential frontrunner Donald Trump will be back in South Carolina. He plans to take part in a forum at Wofford College. That event is this Friday at noon. Then on Saturday, Ben Carson will be at Allen University in Columbia for a justice forum at 1 in the afternoon. Carson will share his platforms on criminal justice reform and community policing.
Well, a new poll finds that Nikki Haley has become one of the most popular governors in the country, but that voters still don't want to see her as the Republican vice presidential candidate next year. That's from the public policy polling. 56% of voters in the state approve of the job Haley has done. Her numbers with Republicans and independents are good, but what really sets her apart from other governors across the country is that she's at almost break even with Democratic voters. The good numbers with Democrats are thanks to the leadership she provided in taking down the Confederate flag. Despite Haley's popularity, only 25% of those taking part in the poll want to see her on the Republican ticket next year.
And we've got the results from yesterday's runoff election here in Columbia. The city of Columbia now has a new District 2 councilman. Ed McDowell beat out Aaron Bishop. Also taking over the council at large seat, Howard Duvall. He's worked in city government before. Duvall will be replacing Cameron Runyon, who failed to qualify for that runoff.
And in the Low Country, residents have a new mayor for the first time in 40 years. Businessman John Tecklenburg has been elected as mayor of Charleston. Tecklenburg beat out Representative Lyon. Tecklenburg will take over for Joe Riley, who served more than 40 years in office and did not seek re-election.
Here's something interesting to think about. Who did you have lunch with today, and how much did you eat? Does the gender of who you are dining with actually have an effect on how much you eat? Well, a new study says the answer is yes, especially if you are a man. It's from Cornell University, and they looked at behaviors of men when they sat down to eat. Now, men in the study ate significantly more if they were in the company of a woman as opposed as when they were dining with men. For the study, researchers observed 105 adults who ate lunch at an all-you-can-eat Italian buffet over a period of 2 weeks. You had me at all-you-can-eat Italian buffet. But they recorded how many slices of pizza and how many numbers of bowls of salad that the person ate. The results show that men who dined in the company of at least one woman ate 93% more pizza. 86% of the men ate more salad when they dined with their male companions. Now, nothing about this made sense to me until Dana, our producer, said, because I was thinking, you know, your wife is going to make you eat salad, your girlfriend's going to make you eat salad. Right. But Dana said no. With the men, they want to prove that, oh, I'm fit. Yeah, I don't indulge in that pizza. Sausage pizza, what? No.
So they can keep their abs up.
Right. And then with us, they're more like, I'm the man. I can eat 7 pieces of pizza.
I think it's interesting that, you know, they didn't ask women about this, because I'm pretty sure women would probably eat less around men than they would around, you know, another female. But I know I'm gonna dine, you know, I'm gonna dig in. No matter what, I'll be eating.
How about that? Men, if you want to lose weight, get a date. Yeah, there you go. Slim down right away. All right, speaking of slimming down, I love this story. Apparently, there is a bum rush on shelves at Walmart for these sweet potato pies that Patti LaBelle put out, all because of a viral video. This story is hysterical. So, can you get that sweet potato pie today? We'll tell you next.
Well, move over pumpkin pie, because Patti LaBelle's sweet potato pie is the sought-out hot item for Thanksgiving. The pies are flying off the shelves at Walmart after a review video went viral. Check this out. Whoa!
I turned into Patti. You turned into Patti after eating this.
Sorry, that's James Wright. He's taste testing the pie, and thanks to him, the pies are in high demand. Walmart says they're scrambling to restock them, and the review video was viewed more than 8 million times on Facebook and continues to grow.
I believe that man. I believe him that pie was that good. I believe it. The holidays are almost here, and we are helping you get to know the best and worst times to head out and come back during Thanksgiving weekend. The travel app Waze, with a Z, used last year's data to come up with a schedule. Tuesday, expect peak traffic between 4 and 8 in the evening. Wednesday, that peak is going to shift from 3 to 7. Thursday and Friday look like better days to travel, with only a small increase on Saturday. On Sunday, if you're looking at peak traffic from 1 until 6 p.m. and Monday, you should see an increase late in the morning. But sometimes you just have to travel then, so it just doesn't even matter. That's when you gotta go.
Get up and go.
Unfortunately. Right. Now, a bipartisan group of lawmakers proposing some legislation to change that, and industry leaders are on board. Today's products are made with chemicals like formaldehyde, used in products from nail polish to some chemical hair straighteners, and known to cause cancer. Under the proposed law, the FDA would test whether or not those chemicals are being used at safe levels. If not, they can force a recall. This is something doctors say is overdue.
Well, I think we really need to look very closely at some of these ingredients, because we know that at higher concentrations they can be toxic.
The European Union bans more than 1,000 chemicals from personal care products, and the U.S. only bans 11.
Which is crazy.
That is a very scary thought. I'm really glad they're doing this.
Yes.
Especially for those of us that wear gallons of makeup.
Every day.
Every day.
Formaldehyde on our faces.
Yes, formaldehyde. Doesn't it make me look pretty? I love formaldehyde. All right, coming up next, are you in the market for some new furniture?
Well, a truckload of furniture delivered to a local thrift shop to raise money and charity. You can find out where you can find that next. Well, Columbia City Council met today to approve the necessary repairs to the damage caused by the flood. Only 4 council members were present during today's meeting. That's Mayor Benjamin, Councilman Davis and Newman, as well as Councilwoman Devine. Councilman Newman excused himself because of a conflict of interest, leaving the 3 remaining members to approve 12 projects regarding the Columbia Canal, waterline repairs, and damage along the Riverbank Zoo. The total cost may be upwards to $140 million. The city plans on fronting the money in hopes that FEMA will reimburse them at least 75%. The rest of the money will come from the Water and Sewer Reserve Fund.
The deadline to apply for FEMA assistance is approaching. The registration deadline is Friday, December 4th. Now, once registered, you are in the system. There's no need to register again. Assistance can include money for temporary housing and home repairs and low-cost loans to cover uninsured property losses. There are several ways to register for federal assistance. We've got it all posted at our website, WLTX.com.
The Oliver Gospel Mission will have to reach into their operating funds because of lack of donations for their Thanksgiving box program. The mission has promised 300 needy families a box of food for Thanksgiving. Today was their deadline for donations, but they are short hundreds of items. Now they have to reach into a pocket to pay for those items and funds that the nonprofit would usually use for other homeless support programs. That's what they'll be using.
There's been an outpouring of support for people who have been affected by the flood, but the side effect of that is that some of the support that is going there is not coming to us, and so we've seen a deficit in giving to the mission.
If you'd like to donate money to help cover the cost of food or to learn more about how you can help, you can find those links on our website at WLTX.com.
The Good Samaritan family thrift store got an amazing Christmas gift today. Lazy Boy delivered a tractor trailer full of donated furniture to the store. The furniture was collected during the biannual trade-in event at Lazy Boy in Lexington. Now the store is going to be able to sell the items at a much lower price to benefit their charity programs.
All this money goes to the operations of the mission. And we're really unique in terms of helping the lives of those we help to get transformed. And this is resources that will really help us to expand our efforts in helping those in need.
The Good Samaritan family thrift store is having a 50% off sale this Friday. All of proceeds, once again, go to the Oliver Gospel Mission.
The sounds of Native American music echoed through the Columbia City Hall today as a ceremony was held to honor Native American Awareness Day in South Carolina. Representatives from several tribes from across the state took part in today's event. There was Native drumming, songs, and dancing, and tribal leaders spoke about Native culture and history. The Catawba Indian Nation is the only federally recognized nation in South Carolina, but the state recognizes about a dozen additional Native tribes and groups. Dr. Will Moreau-Goins was the chief of the Cherokee tribe of South Carolina. He says November is a perfect time to celebrate Native American contributions to the state.
It helps our young people be accepted on their campuses, whether it's K through 12 or college campuses. It lets us take a little pride in our ancestry, the many contributions that we gave to Southern culture. It's very important as we remember the Puritans and the Wampanoags at Thanksgiving, that we spend this entire month remembering all the indigenous people that met newcomers, that welcomed them here.
Well, starting on Sunday, Columbia will host the 18th annual Native American Indian Film Festival of the Southeast, and the festival will feature a number of independent films showcasing the work of Native American actors, directors, and producers.
Big honors today for the city of Columbia. Today, the city has been designated a bronze level walk-friendly community by the Pedestrian and Bicycle Information Center. Walk-Friendly Communities is a national recognition program aimed to encourage communities to establish or recommit to a higher level of walking.
As the city of Columbia is a growing and bike and walk-friendly community, it's absolutely essential to us because our passengers start on foot or on bicycle. That is how they get to transit. And the ability to travel safely in your neighborhood and in the downtown area or anywhere across the community creates freedom for citizens and makes the city of Columbia a great place to live.
The City of Columbia is the first bronze level community within our state and the only community within the state to receive this designation at any level.
Well, Midland school leaders pledged today to support military students and their families. 15 superintendents from area school districts signed a resolution today. The pledge solidifies their commitment to support military-connected students and help ease transition concerns of military parents. State School Superintendent Molly Spearman talked to us about why she feels this pledge is so important.
They give so much to our state, nation, and world, and our part is to make school a safe place, a place that doesn't add any extra stress to their lives. We want to de-escalate the stress that they have because they have to move a lot. They change from one school, one state to the other. So this is a commitment, showing a real positive commitment by all these 15 school districts in the Midlands and South Carolina.
Now, after the signing, Superintendent presented the resolution to the Commanding General of Fort Jackson.
The Navy Junior ROTC unit at Dreher High School conducted an inspection today. Cadets were evaluated and inspected by military officers. The inspections are held each year to showcase cadets' talents as well as show off the benefits of the program.
This is just a local thing. It's just basically to show the community how much work we've put in, and basically over the course of 3 to 4 months, they had to learn all their knowledge, all their drill, and perform in front of a crowd.
The school has never received an unsatisfactory rating since the program began in 1993. So congratulations to the ROTC folks at Dreher.
Doing a great job. Well, coming up, we'll hear how one woman is actually overcoming lupus and what she's doing to do that. Coming up after this.
The Centers for Disease Control says systematic lupus is a disease that attacks the immune system, and then it leads to widespread inflammation and tissue damage. People with lupus can experience fatigue and pain and joint swelling.
But News 19's Sonia Gutierrez found a single mother who, despite her fatigue, has found the strength to keep working. Sonia?
That's right. Cristina Dominguez was diagnosed almost 3 years ago, but to this day, she continues working as much as she can. I spent the day with her and could feel the muscle pain radiate with each stroke as she painted. She says her body only allows her to work a couple days a week, but sometimes she's not able to at all during a month. But she has 2 kids to raise and medical costs that add $400 to her monthly bills. She has no family here and says her biggest fear is leaving her children defenseless. But a community leader has promised her that as long as he's alive, she won't have to worry.
She's a lovely lady, humble, and she needs us. And we have to be there for her. And I talked to God and I told him, you send it to me, but you have to send me the blankets, the food, the whatever they need, and God is providing.
Cristina has been working construction as a freelancer. She was diagnosed. Sector Morales has raised money and donations to help her because he says that's what anyone else would do in the same situation. Stick around for her full story coming up at 7.
I can't imagine. So she has this disease that makes it painful to move at times, and she does physical work. I mean, it's almost impossible.
Yeah, I mean, it's very labor intensive what she does, but I mean, she has 2 little kids. She has bills that continue stacking up, but what's beautiful about it is that the community has really just come together to help her.
Can't wait to see the rest of it.
Yeah, she has the strength to keep going, which is great.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Sonia. We'll be looking forward to the second part of that. Coming up next, though, we know there is a 100% chance of snow in Columbia this weekend. No, really, but you have to go to Adventure to see it. We're going to explain next.
Well, here's a look at what's on WLTX tonight. It kicks off at 8 with Survivor, followed by Criminal Minds at 9, Code Black at 10, and followed by News 19 at 11.
You have still got a couple of days to give blood for the annual Carolina Clemson Blood Drive. The blood drive happens at this time of year because blood supplies do dwindle in advance of the holiday season. The winner of the coveted trophy is typically announced at the November 28th football game, which is in Columbia this year. Over the past 3 decades, the universities have collected about 100,000 pints of blood. That's amazing. Last year, South Carolina won of the drive for the 7th year in a row.
Wow. Meanwhile, the petition to move the noon game is growing. This will be the 4th noon kickoff in Columbia this season, and the petition adds it will be a travel nightmare to Tiger fans who are trying to get out to Williams-Brice Stadium. The petition has nearly 10,000 signatures. 100,000 signatures would call for a reaction from the White House, which, wow.
But as we explained last night, unfortunately, we can't decide this. It's decided by TV and which games go on TV at which times. So unfortunately, start planning your breakfast casserole for your tailgate, your muffins, biscuits. What else makes a good tailgate breakfast?
I don't know. You can stop by McDonald's. They have all day breakfast,
There you
go.
Just get yourself up. So one of the big breakfasts, you know, with the pancakes and the sausage.
Yeah, yes.
Share it with your friends. Get 2 forks, little styrofoam plate. All right, Miss Lauren, thank you for being my friend.
Yes, thanks for having me.
That's going to do it for Friends at 5, but don't go anywhere because News 19 at 6 starts in a minute.